Hey y'all, welcome to Girl Meets Dharma. My name's Norma, your host of whatever. Oh, it's been a while. I think there's only one video on this channel, but anywho, number one, excuse the facials. While would I love to put some concealer under these dark bags, or on top of the dark bags, I'm sick. I'm recovering from a cold. You're gonna hear me sniffling. Hopefully the vibes, I literally put so much blush on my face because I was like, you know what? We're gonna lean in to the sick vibes. You know, when you blush yourself up a lot, it almost looks like you're have a little cold and you're blowing your nose all cute. That's what we're going for. Hopefully that's what we delivered. Anyways, we're jumping right in. The Boyfriend season 2 is out. I'm very, very behind, as you can tell. It's okay. Today we're talking about episodes 1 through 6. I am so excited. I almost feel like I need to go back and watch season 1 and do season 1 just for funsies, because I'm obsessed. I love this show so much. I'm not gonna lie. Season 2 has me a little bit anxious, long run wise, because I'm almost it's like all other dating shows. That first season is so authentic. It's so authentically people just being themselves and really looking for the thing the show says they're supposed to be looking for. And then each season that goes on, you get farther from that plot. Typically, though, I will say, to me, a non-Asian member of this community, so my opinion truly does not matter, but to me, I feel like most of Asian reality shows I've watched do give a much more authentic vibe across the board. That's what we're hoping for. Anyways, we're jumping right in, okay? So we're jumping into episode 1. I have my notes here, so that's what I'll be looking at. But Bomi arrives first. I love him already. Truly obsessed with him already, but he arrives first, followed by Jobu, so they are introduced to each other. Everyone says where they're from. I don't remember all of them. I wrote some down that were important to the plot, if that makes sense. So, because we have this Isaiah, I'm gonna fuck up these names, damn it, I was doing so well. Isaiah comes into the house, introduces himself. He was working and living in Australia. Him and Jobu know each other as friends of friends, not dating or anything. And yeah, Jobu's we're in Australia, so he had been in Australia for work, I believe. Then we have Hiroya arrives next, and he reminds me a lot of, I have to look it up really quick. The Boyfriend season 1 cast. Because I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Here we go. Okay. Where is he? Oh, that's Ryota. Ryota, am I saying that right? He reminds me so much of him. They have the same vibe. Not that they look alike. They have the same vibe. But anywho, reminds me a lot of him vibes. William gets there next, and that's another one whose location I remember. He was in Barcelona for work. Isaiah is in shambles, y'all. William and Isaiah have dated before. We will get into that, but Isaiah don't know what to do. Next up, we have Kazuyuki. He's 40. He's the oldest one there. Everyone else, I think, is between the ages of 20 and 28 or something, 29. No one's older than 30, I don't think. That's a lie. I think someone might be. I know Jobu's older, and Ryoya, what the hell am I saying? Hiroya is also older. Anywho. Last but not least is Huwei, and we love us some Huwei, okay? Bomi is flabbergasted, and I love it. I love it. Huwei walks in, and Bomi's like, and at first I was like, oh my god, he loves him instantly. Because, preface, I have been seeing shorts pop up on YouTube for me of this. I think the algorithm knows I watched the first season, and then I'm all about the Asian BL dramas, and so I think that popped up as a BL thing, because I have a lot of shorts pop up BL related. So anywho, they start popping up. I'm seeing all these Huwei and Bomi ones, and I'm obsessed with them, and I'm I have to watch for them. It was giving me Dai and Shun vibes, and so I'm very, Day and Shun vibes, and I'm very excited for them. Also, I did see a lot of William and Jobu ones, which had me brokenhearted for Jobu, and I was I don't know if I can watch this, but I've been watching. It's not what I thought. That's what I'll say about that. Anywho. Yes, so William and Isaiah know each other. Huwei and Bomi know each other. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like Bomi and Huwei went out once or twice, and it fizzled. I think Bomi wasn't super interested. More on that later, though. So they make dinner together, then they hear fireworks, and so they all go outside to watch the fireworks. I should have started with this, but if you're not familiar with the premise of the show, it's like winter, they go stay somewhere like in a cabin, I guess, and they are in charge of like running a coffee truck. And so each day, one person gets picked, they pick a partner, they go work at the coffee truck for the day. So they're making dinner, seeing fireworks. Then they're like cutting up fruit to have as dessert, and William and Isaiah are getting their flirt on. We clearly see Isaiah is like going through it. And then of course, this episode ends with the same thing that the last season like starts with, if that makes sense, like ends with the start, if that makes sense. We're writing letters now, and so basically each person gets to write a letter to another person. They have little mailboxes outside their door, and they each come out one by one to see if they got a letter. We have Bomi up first. Bomi gets none. We have Kayazuki, he gets none. Jobu gets one from Hiroya. William gets two, one from Jobu, one from Kazuyuki. Huwei gets none. Huwei gets none. Isaiah gets three, girl. Isaiah's a popular one. Bomi, William, and Huwei write him one. He knows Huwei is Huwei's because he put a smiley face he saw him put somewhere else. And Hiroya gets one from Isaiah, which is just like, thanks for the chocolates, which was like, what the hell? I think Isaiah really wanted to write to William, but he was still like in his feelings about it. Again, we'll talk about it. Then they all get together for breakfast, and Huwei is basically like, I've been waiting to look at some results, and I figured I'd do it with you guys. And he says he's basically getting his master's. I could be misinterpreting. It was the English dub version. We know that things get lost in translation, okay? I'm not pretending they don't, but that does not mean I'm not allowed to consume this media. But anyways, so if I have the understanding correct, he looks it up. If his number's on this list, it means he passed his master's, like he can go to his PhD. And so they all look at it together. He's like, this is my number, 312203 or something. And then they all look, and they're like, wait, there it is, oh my God. And I was like, thank God, because that would have been uncomfy if it wasn't that. Anyways, Huwei is an educated, beautiful, wonderful king. So that's all we have to say about him. No, I really love him. I love Huwei and Bomi. I love them. And I might be a little bit, prejudiced because I saw them before, but separately too, they're just very wonderful people. Anywho, next day, they all go, I think it's banana boat sledding. It's literally like a sled. It looks like two bananas side by side connected, and then they like sit on them and they get like pulled around. So they do that, and then they go jet skiing after that. Isaiah and William ride together. Isaiah drives, and he's like speed demoning through this bitch. And I was like, William, whoa, okay, William kept this cool, but he was like, oh damn. And then it's so funny, I think Huwei drives Hiroya, and he's going like super slow. Bro, editing on these shows be killing me because they literally just show them. Like Huwei just like being slow as heck. It's just like an awkward, like silent, slow moving situation. It's so funny. All right, so they get back, and now they're basically learning how to make coffee for the coffee truck. They come up with a name, which it's like Us Coffee and the Journey or something like that. And yeah, then they make all their like little menus and all of like the marketing art, you know? We see Hiroya showing some interest in Huwei, and him and Bomi end up talking about Huwei. I don't think he makes it clear yet in this episode to Bomi that he's also interested, but they're both talking about him. And then Isaiah and William are having a conversation while washing dishes. And William says how he had an ex when he was in Barcelona. It was a German man. And Isaiah is clearly affected by this. I think maybe him moving on so easily from Isaiah has Isaiah kind of like, what's going on here? But that's how that episode ends. We get into episode 2. They all go snowboarding. Huwei has never done it and kills it. Literally, they have him. They're like, hey, stand up. If you believe you can stand up, you will. He stands up. He's like, oh, like that? They're like, yeah. Suddenly, this man is on the slopes, okay? This man is on the slopes. Oh, I forgot to mention, again, if you haven't seen it, there's a part of this show that I actually really like. This is very ADHD of me, but they have hosts who, like, talk about things. So throughout, it's like they go to the host, and they're like, oh my God, did you see that? And they talk about it. I personally love that because, like, I make these videos, and that's kind of almost like what I envision is like you and me being like, did you see that? Like, that's so cute. Da, 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 da. So anytime I get comments, I love it because that's literally what it feels like, is like a conversation happening like as we're watching, even though it's not as we're watching. I think I want to figure out if I can go live here or somewhere else. So maybe in the comments, if I can figure out where I'll be. I kind of want to watch 13 through 15 live. I feel like that would be fun to just like react. Especially now that I have a schedule with my little girls, and so they be down pretty early, so like I have the time to do it. So we might make that happen. Okay. Anywho, yeah, so Bomi struggling, he takes it off, and then they just show him, he looks like a little kid holding this big old snowboard with trudging down the mountain. It's so cute. I will say that's one thing I love about Bomi. He seems very confident in himself, because I feel like I'm a person who isn't super adventurous. Like, I'll try things, but it's almost like I know that it's unlikely that I'll enjoy those types of like physical activities. It's rare that I enjoy them where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm down to do this all the time. Like, it's what you like, and now I tried it and I like it. I'm very much like, oh, I'll try it once or twice, but like that's about all you get from me. And so I like that he's very confident in that, because I won't lie, sometimes I am a little insecure in that, where like it's like, oh, people think I'm boring, right? Or like people would say to you, like, you're so boring. And I like that he's kind of just like, I just don't like it. Nah, it's all good. Because they even go, I think it's to go to the hot springs. And he's like, oh, I really don't want to go. And he ends up just like saying like, hey guys, I'm not going to go. Although he's in his coat, ready to walk out. But I like that about him. All right, then we have Isaiah and William. So while they're snowboarding, William gets on the, oh my God, what's it called? I'm forgetting the name. That you sit on it and it takes you up there. The ski lift. Struggling. They're on the ski lift going up. So it's, and when they go, it's William and Jobu, and they're like, oh, who'd you write the letter to? And Jobu's like, I'm not saying. And he's all like embarrassed because he wrote it to William. And then William and Isaiah ride back. And this is basically where we realize that they have very different interpretations of what their situation was 4 years ago. I'll say it now. I think I'll mention, I know I have it in the notes because they deeper talk about it like throughout. And so I'll mention those, but I'll just say it now. Essentially, Isaiah thought that they were like headed in a direction, right? Like he thought they were dating. Like they'd gone on multiple dates. They would hang out at his house. They would go to the gym together. Like he's thinking something is progressing. And then he basically says that William just kind of stopped talking to him, right? So that's Isaiah's point of view. So you're like, red flags, why are you even entertaining this man? Like, this is not destiny, right? Because they're all like, it's destined. And I'm like, it's not. Get away. However, this is how, you know, we're continuously reminded that nothing's black and white. And that everyone, you should try to understand. Like, you should hear out explanations, because sometimes they do explain things. Because basically, right, Isaiah has this view. You're sitting there like, you don't need to be talking to this man, Dan. He just ghosted you. Like, you thought this was serious, and then he just, like, fades away. William felt that Isaiah was not giving enough, and so he just kind of stopped talking to him. And he says, like, I was the one who stopped talking to you, but I kind of knew you wouldn't follow me, or you wouldn't pursue me. So William knew that if he stopped talking to him, it would just end. And so that basically was like, William didn't feel like Isaiah cared for him much. So it was kind of like, I'm just gonna stop talking to him. And it was kind of that expectation of, I know he probably won't like pursue me or look for me, but if he does, then I'll know, type of thing, right? And so that was just interesting that they had very different perspectives. But also in combination with that, William was a lot younger then, and so he also later on mentions how he was just kind of like doing his thing. Like, I just want to say, walls are paper thin here. You can hear everything, especially because I'm in the kitchen right by where the entrance is. So if you hear that, I just waited one out, but I'm like, I can't wait out everyone. So if you hear background noise, that's why. Anywho, all right, so we're back at home from snowboarding. We're eating, we're cooking, we're doing the vibes, and basically we find out Huwei likes princesses, and I discover what princesses are. No, it's really like what the term sounds like, just like, you know, more like princess traits in a man, you know what I'm saying? Like very pretty, he keeps saying that, like a pretty face will get me, a pretty face will get me. And it can sound shallow, but I feel like I understand what he's saying. It's just like, you know, a pretty boy. There we go. And it's like the gay version of a pretty boy. Like, it's like a very well-kept man, very shaven face. Later on, Bomi has a little facial hair, and he's like, "Are you gonna shave that?" Like, and he's like, "I don't know. I thought I might let it grow a little bit." And he's like, "No, take that off." But anyway, yeah, he likes very pretty men, the Shuns of the world. Y'all know, if you saw season 1, you know what I'm talking about. But I thought that was, I don't know, I just like him so much. This is my thing. I'm starting to see why I like these dramas. Because most of the time you have masculine presenting men. And so I think as a woman who, and in these things, it's men who are very expressive and talking about their emotions. Like they're very emotionally intelligent, aware, present, all of the things. And so I think they're masculine presenting. So as a woman, you're attracted to them. You're like, he is beautiful. And then you're seeing him do all of these like emotionally mature things. And you're like, you can do that for me. I mean, like, you know, I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but Huwei is definitely one of those. Where it's just like, if you weren't gay, you'd be the like, we lost one, you know, those kind of vibes. But anywho, yeah. So that's how we find that out. I see some interactions with Jobu and Kazuyuki, but more as friends. However, I feel like Jobu should try to pursue like an older man. Obviously not Kazuyuki. We'll get into why later, but I think he could be really good with an older man because basically like Kazuyuki's personality is very calm and toned down, right? Like an elder. Like he's very like, I don't need to do all the jumping around and the excitement. And so, like, I feel like Jobu was very, like, you know, at one point he's like, let's all do his eyebrows. And, like, they each do one eyebrow and it's, like, funny and different. While he's asleep, Jobu draws, like, hearts and stars on his face. Like, that keeping you young thing. You know what I mean? Like, in a good way. Not in a creepy, weird way. But I could see him with someone older and it being, like, you know, he's just the light of this house. Or he's just, like, so fun. He keeps me young and alive. Like, and I think he would enjoy that vibe. I think he kind of needs that in his life after what he's put through on this show. But anyways, yeah. So Bomi is first up to work the truck. He picks Huwei, and it actually goes really well. It's very sweet. They're really chatting, getting to know each other. Like the conversation flows very easily. There's definitely a friendship building there, which if you ask me, that is like crucial number one, most important thing to like a successful relationship is that there is like a base of friendship there. Next up, we have Jobu picking William for the truck on a different day. And I mean, it goes well. Like they're chill. Same thing. There's like a friendship vibe there. More on why I'm kind of nonchalant about this later. But yeah, they have a good time. They go, they make some money, etc. While they are out, the others decide to build an igloo outside. So they build an igloo that they're like for private chats because there's not somewhere to do that here. Which is very cute. And so that episode ends that way. It's kind of them showing them the igloo when they get back. Episode 3, we pick up with William, like, teaching Jobu salsa randomly with no music, just like da-da-da-da. And the host who, like, chime in and chat had the same thoughts I did immediately, which was like, whoa, is he a flirt? Like, what is this? Like, what is he doing? Like, she was like, you have to be like a really quirky person to pull this off. Cause yeah, it was like no music. He randomly was like, get up here, come on. And I was like, is he a flirt? Because you're just like, what's happening here? Like, he's just talking and chatting and flirting with everyone. We get a little deeper into that later. Again, the whole not black and white, understanding people to understand that it's not just like this is a wicked person, you know. That's not always the case. Okay, not everyone is going to be like, oh, their explanation makes sense. Some people it's like, no, you still are shitty, you know. Anywho, Huwei is up next. He picks Isaiah to work with. Again, they have a great time. Huwei is like a very friendly, charming person. What I like about him, though, is not flirty. That's the thing, because there are people who are just charmers in their life. And so they do come off flirty because that's their nature. That's how they talk to people. It's like there is a flirty screen to it. And I feel like what I like about Huwei is that he is friendly, not flirty, right? So there's a difference. Like he is just very friendly, very kind to people. He'll talk to you. He's not going to be like, oh, I don't like you, so like I'm gonna be weird to you to make sure you know I don't like you, or to make sure that that's separate. It's like he's just friendly, and if someone asks, he's just gonna tell you, which again, we'll see later. But yeah, they have a good time. But while they're out, Bomi and William have a conversation about destiny. William starts asking Bomi, you know, like, oh, did you feel like you and Huwei seeing each other, he was destiny, da da da? Because Bomi's like, yeah, it felt destiny to be together again, because if I have an understanding right, again, English dubs, it sounds to me like Bomi wasn't super into Huwei, and maybe Huwei wasn't either, because there's a different reaction Huwei has to seeing Bomi than he does to seeing a new person that enters the house later that he also knew. So it seems like he was kind of okay with their fizzle out, but anyways, Bomi gets to know him in this house, and then also when he sees him in the house, he says how he looks back at their DMs, and he saw that Huwei was actually very considerate and nice, like wishing him a happy birthday, like kind of a present feature. And so he's seeing him in a different light as he's like seeing more about him and learning more about him. And so he feels like, yeah, it was destiny. It was like destiny being like, here, get to know this person better. Like, this is the second shot. William says how it seems like that was his initial reaction with Isaiah, and then he got like self-conscious about it and was like, but maybe not. Maybe it's just a fluke that we're here, but we're not meant for each other. Like, it's a lot of insecurity within that relationship. I think also because Isaiah's energy was so nonchalant when they dated 4 years ago. So they're all together eating dinner again. We have Isaiah. They're just talking about different things. Isaiah, like, noteworthy mention. Isaiah says how like letters would be like basically like the favorite gift, like the gift that he would like to get most, because he feels like material things like great, yeah, but like a letter you keep forever, it has the person's feelings in it, like it's very sentimental. And William's like, yeah, I totally get that, all of that. Isaiah, listen, honey, Isaiah is like, I'm here to show William what's up, what's the word, I'm interested, not backing down. They're like sitting on this little like L-shaped thing, and William's laying down, and so Isaiah's like right next to where he's laying with his knees, being like, oh yeah, like this, I haven't been on this spot, like this part of it, this is very comfy, like specifically where he's laying. And then he kind of like leans back, sits, and grabs his foot and starts massaging his foot, and he says it, he's like in his little confessional, and he's like, yeah, I wanted to like make my interest known, and so like I grabbed his foot and started massaging, and I was like, and then you have Jobu just sitting there staring. Because if I didn't already say, it's not obvious, Jobu is very into William. Very into William. And I'm sorry, at least from what we're seeing, it's clear that William is into Isaiah. And he's just conflicted because he's like, like, I don't, like, his interest will fade. Or he's still not sure about how Isaiah feels. He still feels that nonchalantness from before. In this moment, Jobu starts to try to start a hug train. William's sitting there. Jobu asks for a hug from somebody who was sitting next to William. It might have been Huwei, but I can't remember. And this begins everyone hugging each other, being like, oh my god, like a skinny person hugging a skinny person. Oh yeah, no, I like hugging muscles better. Oh yeah, let me see, hug Huwei, hug this, you know, he doesn't get to hug William. It doesn't work. Isaiah's up to choose for the truck. Isaiah chooses he chooses William. He chooses William. He chooses William. It goes really well in terms of like working together. While they're working, Iroya pulls Huwei for a chat just to let him know that he's interested, basically. And that's kind of what it's up at. Huwei is like, oh yeah, thank you, that makes me happy. And it's up at that. Once they're done at the truck, Isaiah and William, every day after they work at the truck, like whatever pair works at the truck, they like will go eat somewhere together after and talk. And so, yeah, they're talking. They talk about how it ended. This is where I mentioned that William is kind of like, I knew that if I stopped, you wouldn't pursue me. Like, you wouldn't try to keep it going. They're very, very flirty after this. Because basically, Isaiah is like, I get it. And he himself is like, oh, I was trying to play it really cool. And I think I played it too cool. And I made him think that I wasn't interested. And that's why things ended last time. Because he was saying how when William first got there, he was like regretting coming. Because he was like, I did not want to see him again. But what it really was that William really stayed on his mind. Like, it was someone he really liked. And so to hear William being like, oh, I don't remember that. Or like, oh, yeah, no. When it was because like William was like doing his own thing, realized that he wasn't that into him back then. And so just kind of let it be. And so Isaiah's like, all right, we turning up the flirting factor to 1,000. Let's go. So they get back home and they're like flirting, baby. They're like on the couch and shit. I think even they're like sitting on the couch and Jobu's just watching this interaction. And he's like, I celebrated your birthday with you once. Do you remember that? And William's like, I don't remember. Oh my God, I remember. And like his hands are all over his face. And they're like heavily laughing and blushing. And I'm like, damn, what happened on this birthday? Tell us too, because bro. But yeah, it was really funny. And I just, oh God, my heart is breaking for Jobu. But it's so funny because, okay, so the clips I saw in shorts of Jobu and William made it seem like they were bonded first. Like William liked him too. And then Isaiah comes into the picture and William like is like, oh no, I'm not interested in you, and goes for the other. Like the order that things were popping up for me, that's the impression I gathered. And so I was like, oh, ew, no, William sucks. Jobu deserves better. But now I see that it was just kind of a thing that was happening simultaneously. Like, William is trying to understand his stuff with Isaiah, while Jobu is, like, liking William more and more. And it just was, like, an unfortunate situation, you know? Like, just, oh, no. Anywho, Hiroya picks Huwei. And, yeah, it goes well again. Very friendly. Hiroya buys Huwei a little like fluffy bird keychain thing. And then this episode ends with them eating together dinner again for the night. And they start talking about cheating. And there's this sarcastic, like, yeah, no, cheating's no big deal. Like, go ahead and cheat. Like, oh, cheating's different for everyone. Yada, yada, yada. And then William lets out that he cheated. He tries to be like a long time ago. And then Isaiah asks more questions. And everyone realizes that it was with the partner he just had. This throws Isaiah all the way off, obviously, because he's like, well, damn, like, that makes it weird and difficult to trust you. We move into episode 4, and that kind of, you know, it gets left like that. Like, Isaiah's upset. So then they are in the gym the next morning. Isaiah asks more questions about it. They get into the conversation where basically, like, he had kissed someone, but, like, I guess things were already happening in the relationship. And so when he kissed someone and his partner found out, his partner fully cheated on him. And so, like, that's what happened there. It's weird because I'm like, okay, but that's still cheating. But then again, as everyone says, like, oh, everyone's definitions of cheating are different. And, like, it sounds like maybe there was a dynamic or component to their relationship at the time. I don't know. There's not a full understanding. You don't get the full picture. But whatever they talk about was enough for Isaiah to feel comfortable. And so they are once again cool. Bomi talks to Kazuyuki about putting himself out there. So Bomi pulls him aside. And he's like, yeah, I just really want you... In the show, the English is dubbing to stop being considerate of everyone. If I had to gather, I think he's trying to say, like, you gotta start talking and getting to know people, you know? Like, you're just, like, here, like, you are dad watching over us and shit. Like, what's going on? That's the vibe I got. I could be wrong. English dubbing be doing you wrong. But that's what I gathered. It's so freaking weird because William and Isaiah are talking about, like, the things they look for in a partner and the things that would completely turn them off, blah, blah, blah. Like, it turned into a really serious conversation. And they were, I guess, all supposed to go to the hot springs bath or something. And so Jobu goes to the gym. Kazuyuki sees him there. And he's like, yeah, I just like to pump before we go so I can, like, look really good. And so he does some quick, like, push-ups, some pumps. And then he goes to the kitchen and he's like, are we going? And they're like, I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah. He's like, really? Why not? Like, you wanted to go, right? Are you going? No. How about you? Isaiah, are you going? No. I really don't want to. And he's like leaning on the table. And I'm just like, baby, read the room. Sweetie, read the room. Like, it's, you got to stop. You got to go. You got to exit. And William's like, yeah, no, go ahead to the gym. I don't think we're going to go. It's already late. Yeah, no, you go back to the gym. Yeah, you should go back to, you should head on back down to that gym. And I'm like, babe, get the message. I don't know. I love Jobu. He lasted a little bit too long up there. He should have just exit left. But he goes back to the gym and he's like, yeah, I don't know. They seem very serious. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the conversation was. I don't know. They were having a serious conversation. I don't know. It's just like, pobrecito, es su poor thing. Isaiah basically is telling us that he's going to show William how serious he is. Like, he's locked in. He gets it now. Okay? And then now we have our new person, Ryuki, or Ryu as they call him. He knows Huwei. So this is, again, Huwei has a very different reaction to the fact that he already knows him than he did with Bomi. With Bomi, it was like, oh yeah, we're familiar. And with Ryu, it was like, yeah, we went on a couple dates, and I was like, we were both like, oh, we need to meet again for a third. And then I was reaching out to him to schedule that, and he just kind of ghosted me. And so it's clear he might have liked Ryu a little more. I got a little bit nervous because Ryu is 20, y'all. And I was like, and I think I think Wei might be like 26 or 27. So I'm like, how long ago was this? This is getting a little questionable and weird, but it was the year before. So he was 19, which is still a little bit young, but like, you know, he was of age, I guess. But also, I think for Wei, it was like, oh, he ghosted me, but it sounds like Ryu had been through a really difficult relationship. And he says, like, oh, I'm trying to build trust in men again. So it sounds to me like that might have been what was going on before. Anywho, Bomi cutely is comparing. He asks, like, oh, what'd you guys get? Oh, Italian? Oh, like, you made reservations? And he's like, no, it was really spur of the moment. We just went. And then Bomi in his confessional is like, yeah, I guess he likes him too. And they also went on 2 dates. But he made reservations for our date, so I win. It's so fucking cute. I love him so much. He's so adorable. Like, the competitiveness of dating, it's so cute. Okay, so they play in the snow. They have Wei doing flip drops or whatever, like literally flipping them onto the floor like you would in, I think he does MMA, I'm pretty sure. Kazuyuki is finally up and he picks Jobu to go with him. Jobu's wondering what's going on at home the whole time. They're just talking as friends, but again, I keep saying that like Jobu could really benefit from dating an older man. Like it would just be a vibe. They both could benefit, not just Jobu. While they're gone, Isaiah takes William into the igloo. He's basically like, I didn't want anyone else taking you here first, so I wanted to take you first. I wanted us to talk. Like, I just wanted to make my feelings clear. And at one point, he's like, you know, I like you. And he's like, oops, slipped out. Well, there it is. I like you. And then William just talks about his uncertainty and feeling like Isaiah is really wrapped up in his emotions and really expressing himself and that it might fade away or it might change. And so he's like very cautious. He's like, see the way it just slipped out now with the like, oops or whatever. And I'm like, sir, he just likes you. Like, relax. But it's clear, again, the host and I are like on the same page where I'm like, oh, it's clear that he's just really insecure and really like unsure and like, oh, people's feelings could change. And so we're really seeing that. But they're okay. They have a really cute talk in the igloo. They're laughing. They're very like touchy flirty afterwards, but very subtle touches, just like sitting really close to each other, leaning towards each other, things like that. But then this episode ends with Isaiah is like looking at a video. They're talking about a show or something. I don't know. He's looking at something on William's phone and then he gets a text and Isaiah's demeanor is like down in the ground. Basically, he got a heart emoji from someone and Isaiah's like, I saw it. I can't help but feel how I feel. And so they're like weird. And then it's time to go on dates. So everyone will pick a person they want to go on a date with. And the only people who will go on dates are people who chose each other. And so, yeah, we move into episode 5 to find out who went on dates. And only 2 sets agreed. And it's Bomi and Wei and Isaiah and William. And Bomi eagerly reads the dates to see if he got his mans. So Isaiah and William talk about what happened. With the heart emoji message, basically William is like, that is someone I was talking to before. I stopped talking to him coming in here and like once I started making connections. And they just sent that like of their own accord. I could show you the messages if you want, type of thing. And so they talk it through. Isaiah's kind of like, how should we address things like this when they happen? William's like, head on, talk to me and I'll always be honest with you about it. And they're both really, really happy with our conversation. I feel like, interestingly, they both want the same thing. Like, they both want a partner they can feel confident in. Because I believe Isaiah had a 7-year relationship, and it ended because that person cheated on him. So they both want honesty. It happens later, but I'll say it now. William's partner ends up, like, ghosting him. So it was this, his partner was German. When he was living in Barcelona, he met him there and they were dating, and his partner was very affectionate with his words, with his emotions, with showing that he cared and he loved him. And then suddenly one day just blocked him. He ended up like going to Germany, knocking on his door, like what's going on, would not open it, like literally just ghosted him. And I'm sure there's more to that because it sounds like this was also the partner with the cheating situation. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic where it's like, well, was it for no reason? But it sounds like it was. Like maybe they got over that and were fine and then they weren't anymore. I don't know. But that ends up happening. But so, yeah, they're both very happy that they both want that. It's like full transparency and being able to come to each other in honest moments, right? Both of them feeling like if you're like done with the relationship, come say it. You know, like they're both just like communicate. And then we have Wei and Bomi. And Bomi mentions like, oh, should we get matching things? Because they're like in a little store. And Wei seems a little hesitant. So Bomi's like, oh, you know what? Let's get each other a gift that looks like the other person. It says looks like, but I think what it means is like something you feel is the other person, like if that makes sense. Like, I'll get something I think you would want, and you get something I think I want, that type of thing. He gets him this big bird, and he laughs because Bomi gets Huwei a big bird, and he laughs because like, I kind of got like a little mini version of that from Hiroya. I keep saying that name wrong. And Bomi's like, well, this one's bigger, so... And then Wei gets him a fox, and he's like, ooh, I think I'm gonna like connect this to my phone so I can show it off. And then Wei kind of awkwardly laughs, and he's like, oh, should I not show it off? He's like, no, it's totally fine. You can show it off. And so he goes home swinging it around like, yep, Wei got it for me. And it's, again, it's so stinking cute. He's just so giddy and girly. And Huwei is really struggling with his emotions for Bomi, but you can tell he's gonna end up liking him because that's literally like the princess type that he likes. Yeah, so it goes well. Kazuyuki and Ryu are talking, and this is where we start to see what Kazuyuki's story is going to be. Basically, he had a 15-year relationship, and he came on the show to be like, oh, I wanted to rebuild, kind of, you know, like, this give me that boost to start fresh and keep going. And so he talks to Ryu, and he starts crying, thinking about his partner and how they started and what the happiness was and all of that. And so, yeah, it's just like, this is kind of what Kazuyuki's story turns into, is every time somebody says something, he's like, oh my God, I remember my partner used to do that. We were really happy about that. And like, he's kind of remembering all of these happy things that their relationship was. And so then it's Ryu's turn for the truck. He picks Izaya. Goes well. They're chill. Ryu says how Izaya was the one he liked. It's kind of clear, though, that Izaya's, like, into William. And Izaya's like, you should talk to everyone else. Yeah, you should really get to know everyone else. You'd be surprised. Like, essentially, like, this ain't happening. You should really spread your wings, honey. And then Jobu asks for clarity from William. Because Jobu and William, I forgot to mention, end up having a conversation where Jobu makes his feelings known. And William is like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like I can, like, pay attention to both your feelings and Izaya. So I feel like I need to focus on Izaya right now. And that's how he leaves it. And so then they're in the sauna now, and he's like, I would really like for you to clarify. Like, you kind of left it open-ended, and I just kind of want to know. And basically William was like, no. I don't mean to laugh. Oh my God, what the hell? Yeah, William's basically like, no, like, it's not there. And yeah, it's kind of sad. But like, I'm glad he said it, because like, Jobu needed that to like move forward, you know, even though he still does it for a second, but that's besides the point. They're all eating dinner. Ryu asks like, oh, I'd like everyone to answer like if they're in love, like yes or no. And again, I think this was English dub translation, because it sounds like what he meant was like locked, like, have you found someone you're like, oh, I think I might lock in with that person. Because William and Izaya say yes, Bomi says yes, Wei says yes, but he's kind of like, yeah. And it's weird because, again, I think he's, for whatever reason, really struggling with his Bomi feelings. And then William and Izaya, they're just being flirty, touchy kings. And yeah, I like that. What I really liked was that William was being reassuring to Izaya while still staying true to himself. Like, I feel like sometimes when you're struggling with feelings and you know that you need to reassure the person that, like, I do like you, I'm just kind of figuring things out. Sometimes you tend to overcompensate and do too much, and then like you confuse the person, or you maybe say something you didn't mean to say because you're trying to like not hurt them. And so I like that William is able to reassure Izaya while still making it clear, like, there are feelings that I'm dealing with. There are emotions that I'm dealing with that have nothing to do with you or how I feel about you, but they are affecting how I interact with you. And I really like that. I really like that. William, a small little like yellow, almost green flag. All right, moving into episode 6, last one for us. They decide to take a trip to celebrate like everyone getting a turn on the truck. I forget where they go, but they go somewhere. And they're hanging out. And at one point, they're in a car to go, I think, eat. And Hiroya, like, weirdly cock blocks Bomi. Like, he ends up sitting next to him so that Wei can't. And it was such a weird move. And you can tell that it was just petty, like, haha, I can't have him either. And it was, like, weird. Later on, everyone's like, yeah, that was weird. What was that? Like, this is bad. Let's see. Jobu gets in his feelings because he looks over and sees that Izaya is like laying on William's shoulder, and they're like sharing headphones to listen to music. Like, it's just so cute. These two have just like turned such a massive corner. Bomi asks Ryu in front of everyone about like coming out, and that creates a conversation of everyone talking about it. Huwei talking about how his mom would mention like kids and a wife, and he'd be like, I don't like women, leave it alone. And they kind of have, but that he does feel like he could be clearer with his mom to like lower her expectations. Hiroya and everyone is talking about Huwei and the weird seat choice situation. So like Bomi and Ryu go do something. He's talking to them about the chat he had with him where he's like, yeah, he said like, oh, thank you, that makes me happy. And so he's like, I don't know, I feel like I don't have a chance, but then I feel like I do because he said that and all of that. And so they're all encouraging him to like try to talk to him about it. Huwei and Jobu end up going snowboarding together, and then they're like sitting and talking just about their feelings and things. Jobu says how like William was his number one, all of that. And then Huwei talks about feeling like he needs to think through his feelings about Bomi more. Like he's unsure and he feels like he still needs to think more. So we could see that. Like you can definitely see that internal struggle, because when they're together, you're like, he likes this person. And then when he's talking about it in hindsight, it's very like, I don't know though, I'm not sure. And he does at one point say that to Bomi, which is really nice. He's very honest. Like he's just very honest. And I love that. I love that. Anyway, yeah, so then we have Kazuyuki talking more about his ex. Like I said, that really is kind of the train this man is on now. Is like everything reminds him of a moment with his ex. Okay, so Hiroya talking to Bomi about Huwei and making his feelings known, and like, would it be okay if I talk to him? And Bomi's like, what the hell? Yeah, like, what, you know, like he's kind of like, you don't need to ask me. But it was nice because it seemed to me like he was trying to acknowledge their friendship. And then we have William and Isaiah eating together, and William finally admits his feelings and kind of locks in. He tells him, like, you know, I don't want to talk to anyone but you, and I think that I could like you, and it's so cute. It's so cute. And then they're all back together again eating, talking about old partner memories. So, like, everyone's sharing, like, a positive memory they had with an ex. And then William talks a bit about like how most of his memories are bad, but that if he allows himself to think about the good ones, that there were a lot of good ones. And he understands he should do that more often. Like think a little bit more positively about relationships. We get a confessional of him talking about his ex ghosting him. Basically how his ex was very affectionate in emotions and telling him he loved him and that it was forever and da-da-da. And then one day just like blocked him on all social media, ghosted him. He ended up deciding to go to Germany to look for him and was like knocking on his door for like an hour and he just would not answer. Like he literally ghosted him, like done. And that basically that's what made him feel like, okay, so loved ones lie. Like they could say they love you and it's a lie. And so we see the full circle moment of why he's so hesitant with Isaiah and to like believe what Isaiah is saying. And so, yeah, we understand him a little bit more. I was a little confused because if I'm not mistaken, that's the ex with the whole cheating thing. So I'm like, was it so for no reason? Like, or was something going on? But it sounds like they had moved on from that cheating situation and then it ended the way, I don't know. William is giving a little bit of like, I'm telling half truths, but I want to believe in him for our Isaiah. So yeah, Hiroya, when he was talking to Bomi, ends up texting Huwei like, hey, we should meet. They meet up, and Hiroya is basically trying to understand like why. He asks him like, oh, why didn't you pick Bomi when you like had the chance to pick a date? And he's like, well, it was between 3 people. It was Jomu, Bomi, and Ryu. And then Hiroya's like, oh, so I wasn't even in the 3. And he's like, no, you weren't. And everything. The host cracked me up because they're all like, ooh, ouch. But he's very honest about it. He's like, yeah, I'm not really attracted to you in that way. And he's like, okay, yeah, I appreciate like the truth. And again, that's what I love. And he's so friendly, but he's also very honest. Like he's just like, no, yeah, like he understands. I don't know. It's very, very, very lovely. And we see more of it later. I cannot wait to talk about that. But anyways, yeah. Then we're on the bus back to home. William is acting all uncertain and unsure and insecure again. And I'm just like, William, I have had enough. Stop playing in my boy's face. But yeah, basically he's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like your feelings could change. Like, do you just feel like this because of the environment we're in? You know, because he's like, we're in a bubble. Like, is it going to change in the real world type of thing? And Isaiah basically shares how his mom passed when he was 21. And that like really changed his perspective, made him reevaluate and made him realize what he wants in a relationship the fact that he wants like a life partner, and so he's like, I move differently now because I know that that's what I want. He's like, I'm more honest, I'm more intentional, I'm more like, you know, which he's showing William all of that, but William is struggling because of his own trauma. And so it seems like they both kind of have a conversation of like why they are the way they are, but it does end poorly on the bus in the sense that it seems like they both end up just really insecure and unsure. But that's how episode 6 ends. I hope you enjoyed. Like the video if you did. Comment down below. Should we watch 13 to 15 live? Let me know, all one of you that may watch this. Just kidding. It's gonna be a lot of people. I know it. Anywho, subscribe for more content like this, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.